Welcome back, Heroclix fans. Today we are looking at the 10 most wanted sets outside of current franchises, licenses, Heroclix and Wizkids own. So there'll be no Marvel, no DC. We're going to be looking at some we would like them to sign up. So for these sets, the characters are going to ideally have a lot of different names and different versions and enough to make a few sets from, or at least one big set. They're going to mainly be things from my childhood, so it's going to be nostalgia things, it's going to be films, it's going to be cartoons, it's going to be TV shows, but I don't want to spoil any, so let's get into it with number 10, Cartoon Network. Now, this one for me sort of encapsulates my childhood. Growing up, I would watch this probably most nights. Personally, for me, I always watch sort of X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, stuff like that first. But this was sort of like the cooling down period. This was the easier to watch stuff you would have on in the background. But for me personally, when I think Cartoon Network, I think Powerpuff Girls would probably make the coolest subset. Not just for the characters themselves, but the villains in that were some of my favorite villains from cartoons. Mojo Jojo. I'm struggling to remember their names. There was a gang of amoebas. There was Fuzzy Lumpkins or something like that. There was the Devil. Just so many cool characters, and they always had sort of like one-offs as well, which were quite cool. There was a lot of big monsters, so you could make colossals. There's just a ton you could do just in that subset, let alone the rest of Cartoon Network. Hopefully you're enjoying the increase in videos and the content that I'm putting out. It is mainly Heroclix at the moment. I do want to do more Pokemon, figure stuff, unboxings, but obviously because of the current climate, it's not so easy to do. If you do want to support me, there is a link down in the description, just so we can do a few more cool video ideas. I can bring in some more stuff. Maybe have you guys on the episodes, do some giveaways. It's not necessary, but it is down there if you want to. Coming in at number 9 goes against what I said before, but it is Gargoyles. Now, if you don't remember, this was a cartoon from, I'm pretty sure it was the 90s. I was a massive fan of it growing up. I collect the figures now. I'll do a video of them. I'll throw that in now if I can. They were kind of iconic for me. Some of the characters I still remember. Obviously, you had the main one, Goliath. There was Broadway, I think his name, Hudson, Brooklyn. Just some really cool characters, and that would fit perfectly into Heroclix. Like I say, I think it would be similar to Turtles, where you could only do a small set, and there's not many ways to sort of redo it unless you do different versions. But they also did freeze at points and became the statues again, so that could be a cool mechanic that you could work into it as well. Instead of dying, maybe they freeze for a while or something like that. There is cool things you could do with them, and I think it was a very unique kind of dark cartoon, which would fit perfectly with Heroclix. Coming in at number 8, and possibly the only one on here, not from my childhood, not steeped in nostalgia, and kind of ruined with the last season, but it is Game of Thrones. At its best, it had some of the best characters I've seen on TV. It's got some big monsters, it's got the giants, it's got the whites, the dragons. There's plenty they could do with it outside of just the characters. But because of how smart some of the characters are, there's probably cool abilities you could use there. But also there's great fighters. It's just a great combination to add into Heroclix. And I think there's a lot of different, you could do the different houses, and maybe each house has different abilities. Maybe House Greyjoy gets bonuses in water. Maybe the Targaryens plus stats when they kill somebody. Stuff like that fits thematically. And ideally from that set, my favourite figure, even though there's a ton of cool stuff, I would probably say would be Robert Baratheon. Just from, he was incredible. He was hilarious. I'd love to have him as he was younger and sort of caving in people's chests with his warhammer. But I'd also love one on a throne. Any Heroclix figure on a throne is good. For some reason, it just looks so much better. So him sat on one of them would be the perfect figure from the set for me. Coming in at number 7, I've gone for Dragon Ball Z, which isn't... Growing up, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I've never seen the other Dragon Ball series. I don't really watch it now. But growing up, it was a favourite for me. And some of the characters... The Margin series, or saga in particular, was one of my favourites. I like Deborah, Majin Buu. There's loads of fun characters from it. There's so many you could choose from. You could definitely do a whole set for Dragon Ball. And I think the fighting style and stuff fits perfectly into comic books and Heroclix. Personally, for me, my favorite figure would be I think it would be Majin Buu. I love Cell, Frieza. The bad guys in general are just incredible. But there's so many different variations. I would say either something like Trunks, the time traveling one, or yeah, I'd go Majin Buu, I think. If you're enjoying this list, make sure you drop down below which 10 or which 5 or which 20 or however many you would add. Any I've missed. I've probably missed quite a few. But let me know in the comments what your list would be. Coming in at number 6, I've gone for Avatar or Legend of Korra. That same sort of universe. I think the different styles, the fighting styles, the elements would make for great, like again, similar to the houses of Game of Thrones, you could do different things with them. Personally, this might be a bit of a taboo when it comes to Avatar, but I haven't watched all of Avatar The Last Airbender. I've seen all of Legend of Korra, and I do adore that. Some of the characters in it, some of the creatures, there's just so much they could use from the series. And again, it's like Dragon Ball Z. It fits perfectly with Heroclix and Marvel and DC. Coming in at number 5, I've gone for League of Legends. Now, Dota did try this, and it didn't work too well. The figures looked incredible. And I think the fact that you could add League, you could add a different game type to Heroclix. There's definitely a way they could work it very similar to how League plays on itself with a map. And it works similar to the Battle Arena, which is very similar to Heroclix anyway, with just a few changes. I think adding a new game type would make it a good reason to do it. League of Legends have some of the coolest characters of all time. Some of my favourites are probably... I like the new Silas, so maybe him. I mean, you could make all of them. That's the thing. You can make so many sets from them. I normally play mid, so I like a lot of the mages, but there's tons of tanks. There's bigger creatures like the Baron and Dragon, which you could do as Colossals again. There's just a lot that you could add to Heroclix. And again, I think it's a license which would fit perfectly. Coming in at number 4, probably one of the main choices I see is Star Wars. Even the regular characters have some kind of ability. They've got the Force, so the Jedis, there's the smugglers, there's the bounty hunters. Everyone would feel like they could fight, which is important in Heroclix. You can obviously get the supports as well, but it's going to be cool to have sort of the Mandalorians, or the Jedi, the Sith, and everyone just... some real powerhouses. Personally, Darth Sidious, Palpatine is my main choice. He's my favourite character from it. Snoke, before we got the reveal, maybe would have been, but I actually kind of like the reveal of Palpatine, so I'm not going to complain. My main figure want would be Darth Sidious, but any of the Jedis would be so cool. Imagine the sculpts on these things. I feel like because Star Wars is under Disney, and obviously we've got Marvel, and they're just so free with their licensing compared to the DC, it's potentially something we could get one day, and I think out of everything on here is probably the most likely. But now we've got my top 3. So at number 3, I've gone for Jurassic Park, which I haven't seen on many lists. But can you imagine the amount of dinosaurs? I don't know if the characters themselves would be that interesting. But you could add vehicles, which again would be iconic. Some of the characters are as well. I would love an Ian Malcolm. But just the option to have a pack of velociraptors on your team, or a giant T-Rex, or just any of the dinosaurs would be cool. And I think, again, it's probably a set you can't make too much of, because you don't want to go into dinosaurs that weren't in the films. But by this point, they've added quite a few, so there is quite a bit you could do with it. Now, my final 2. If you watch this channel, or you've seen other videos, you can probably guess what they are. But number 2 is Heroclix. I think it should be brought back, but more integrated with the actual game. I think we need Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, as many as they can get. Just Heroclix in general, The Thing, Alien, Predator. I think some of those sets are some of my favourites, and I have collected them, even though I can't really use them now because they don't really match up with Heroclix. I would love for that to be integrated, and we get more undead Heroclix as well, just anything horror. I think it just fits perfectly with Heroclix. Again, people into Heroclix are going to be into similar things, I think. So I don't think there would be any complaints about having Freddy or Jason back on the map fighting Captain America. But my number 1 pick. Now, people are going to disagree on this, on whether it will fit or not. Personally, there was only one choice for me, and that choice is Pokemon. I grew up in the 90s, so Pokemon was pretty much everything. I played the games, I collected the cards, I collected the figures, which you could get, and you can still get them. I think I've still got some now. I collected the books, I collected the money banks, anything Pokemon I would collect, and it's still one of my favorite things today. So it was an easy choice for me. I think the legendaries make perfect chases for sets, so you could pretty much do, well, you'd have to split even the first gen in half. So you've got, there's probably like 900 Pokemon now, so you've got a handful of sets, probably 10, 15 sets if you want to make it. And then you've got variations. Pikachu's had 100 different costumes, there's different EVs, there's so much you can do with it. I think evolving would be a very interesting mechanic in Heroclix as well. So maybe doing something, you could evolve your Charmander up to a Charmeleon and then into a Charizard. I think it would fit perfectly to the game and it would add new mechanics to keep it interesting. Pokemon is also like the biggest media thing ever, so I think that would be good for Heroclix to have it involved. I think the figures will look incredible and I think it would be the perfect addition to the game. You could also add like a master and trainer and Pokemon thing. Earn badges maybe. There's so much from the Pokemon lore you could add into Heroclix. So I think it's an easy number 1 for me. Obviously, you're not going to agree with all of these, so drop yours in the comments below. Let me know which I've missed, which you think wouldn't work, or maybe ideas you have. But until the next episode.